we have to say that, for example, in the late 16th century, in a city close to Coimbra in Portugal, we know that Passover could have been celebrating between 4 and 10 days, okay? Then, why Passover is so many times described in historical sources is the food. Of course, during Passover, we eat very particular food. No chametz, no flour, no leavened bread. So, and of course, we have a very special bread that nowadays it's called matzah. But in the Inquisition trials from Spain and from Portugal, the term matzah was not the main term used for talking about the unleavened bread. We are going to talk about that just after. The third reason why Passover was so many times described in historical sources, it is because it requires a special cookery, a new one or a special one only used for this holiday. And for example, in the city of Ciudad Real, very close to Madrid, in the late 15th century, we know that women have to organize themselves to buy a new pot just for celebrating Passover. So today we are going to talk about Passover, but as I said, of course, the Inquisition trials from Spain and Portugal do not mention the term Passover in their trials. We can read different terms written in Spanish or in Portuguese. And the main one is in Spanish, Pascua de los Judíos. That means Passover of the Jews. So we obviously understand how holiday is directly in relation with the religion and Judaism. Another term, for example, in Inquisition trials of Portugal, another term is Festa Santa, Santa Festa. Santa Festa, that's the same, in fact, as the Santa, okay, so the holiday, and Festa, that's the feast, the festival. Another term is the term feast that is used to describe Passover in the Inquisition trials from Spain or from Portugal, okay, no difference. But what is very interesting, and that's why we are going to cook this part of the history of the Jews and the Converso today, is the relation between the food and Passover. We have to know that, for example, when it was time to mention Passover, of course, sometimes you can read the word Pesah, but few times. The main terms used to describe Passover is Pascua del Pan Cencenio or Pascua del Cordero. That means Pascua del Pan Cencenio is the festival of the unleavened bread. So we can see now the direct relation between food and Passover, because how was mentioned Passover? It was mentioned as the festival of the unleavened bread. And then, this is in the Inquisition trials. The other term was the festival of the lamb, Pascua del Cordero. Once more, Passover directly in relation with food. For example, the festival of the lamb is a word mainly used in Inquisition trials from Mexico in the late 17th century. And for example, it was a woman called Catalina de Rivera, who was denounced to the Mexican inquisitors because she used to prepare special foods during the festival of the lamb. So let's continue this explanation, of course, and especially in relation with matzah, but as we are going to see after, matzah was not the term used for in the Inquisition trials. Okay, but before, so we are going to cook matzah. Okay, so what I want to show you is the ingredients you will need to prepare this matzah. We are going to use corn flour. It bears different names. We are not going to use all the amount you have in the recipe. We are going to use half an amount of this. So you can take corn flour here. Okay. And we are going to use just 1 cup. Okay. Right. And we are going to use hot water. I'm going to take this here, and we are going to use half the amount of hot water. So it's quite one cup, in fact, of hot water. Okay. So here, and then of course salt. And we are going to add olive oil. You cannot, if you want, you can add olive oil. It's not me. It's not because I decided just to put olive oil. In fact, it is written in some Inquisition trials that the unleavened bread sometimes have this very lightly flavor of olive. So that's why we can use just a little of olive oil, but if you do not want to use this, it's not a problem. So half a teaspoon, that is quite that. Perfect. So now it is very easy. You are going to mix everything. Of course, wash your hand before.
Hélène, are you using corn flour?
Yes.
Yeah, we have a question. Do Ashkenazi Jews eat corn at Passover?
No. This is every year, it's the same problem. It's not a problem. It's just that Ashkenazi Jews do not use the same ingredients as the Sephardim. But it's not here. It's not the question to say, oh, one is wrong and the other is right. I think that what everybody have to take into account is that Ashkenazi and Sephardi are, of course, we are all Jews, but they are two different cultures. Okay, so it's not one is wrong and the other is right. It's just Sephardim can use corn, and Ashkenazi, I think they do not use corn. That's the same for chickpeas, for example. So what I can tell you is just, and for me, it's very important to mention that. As usual, what I try to explain in this monthly session of Sephardi Culinary History is recipes and dishes that I never invented them. I use the ingredient and the preparation, and all we can find in historical sources, not from just 1 century before. I look into Inquisition trials, but other historical sources that explain how was the history of the Jews and what the Jews did before. Not because, and as you will see for this very special session, the man who was denounced for having corn tortilla, that the terms, okay, used, tortilla de maíz, in fact, in the Inquisition, in the Spanish Inquisition trial, okay, this man was Salomón de Machorro. Salomón de Machorro was also known as Juan de León. This man was very, very, very famous. As with the Carvajal, Salomón de Machorro was a man recognized and for its knowledge of Judaism. His travels and his knowledge of Judaism explained why we have so many trials from Mexico that mention his name. And in the recipe we are talking about today, it is in relation, this recipe is in relation with what an Inquisition trial from the late, from the mid 17th century is written. And in this Inquisition trial, we know, obviously, clearly, we know that this man, Salomón de Machorro, in the 17th century in Mexico, was denounced for having consumed corn tortillas, so tortillas de maíz, with fish and vegetables. And he did this for Passover with his friends. And this man was very, very an important man, a very famous Jew and recognized for his knowledge of Judaism. So yes, of course, that's true. Ashkenazi have different culinary practices, and Sephardim have other culinary practices. There is no one is wrong, one is right.
So another question related to this. Why is corn being used for matzah, and when wheat flour is standard for matzah?
Why is corn used for matzah? That's why?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, I can answer you with another information written in an Inquisition trial from 1589, so the late 16th century. And this information I'm going to tell you is from a Mexican Inquisition trial, and it revealed that a man who is Luis de Carvajal, that means one of the famous Jews from Mexico, we know that this man used to eat tortillas de maíz. In fact, I'm gonna tell you the sentence in Spanish, what is exactly written in the Inquisition trial. In the Inquisition trial, it's written that por no haber pan censeño, comía tortilla de maíz por no tener levadura. That means that because he didn't have an access to unleavened bread, Luis de Carvajal used to eat corn tortilla because they did not contain yeast. So he did not decide to use corn tortilla because he liked the flavor of the corn tortilla, or because, I don't know, maybe it was the case too. But this Inquisition trial reveals that Luis de Carvajal and Salomón de Machorro both decided to use corn flour because they couldn't use wheat flour. So it was an important decision, and they took this decision in relation with their knowledge of Judaism. Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's okay.
Great.
Yeah, we
So
can see you.
another interesting information is that corn flour was not the only ingredient used instead of wheat. For example, in Portuguese Creole, we know that for Passover, people, conversos, Sephardim, used to use chestnut flour instead of wheat to make their matzah, their unleavened bread. So once more, this proves that adaptability is inherent to Jewish culture, and it is even more true for the Sephardim, because their diaspora is and was and is very, very huge, and of course, Sephardim have been living in different countries, so different culture, and they have to adapt, but they always keep in mind what was Judaism. So I think it is not correct to tell that the Sephardim are not respecting Judaism because they use corn, or because they use chickpeas, or because they use lentils. Okay, it's not that. It's just a different culture. And what I can say is that Inquisition trials, so historical sources that date mainly from the 15th century, prove that. So it's not an invention, it's not the history of the Jews. So we have to take into account this part of the history of the Jews. So let's back to cooking. So here is the dough. Okay, as you can see, it's not hard, okay, but it is quite easy to knead a little. So what you can do, I can show you here. So you can make a ball, and then you can just do this way, okay, perfect. Great. So now what we have to do is to put this matzah, this unleavened bread, okay, for our tortilla in a plastic, and just set it aside for 20 minutes. Okay, and then we are going to make the tortilla and in the pan, in the baking pan, and it's gonna be great. Okay, so that's the side. I have been, just when I have been preparing this culinary session, I have prepared this unleavened bread with chestnut flour, as it is written in historical sources from Portugal. So I will show you, you will see that the color is different and the taste is different too. So that's very interesting, okay? I will show you how it is. So then, just to finish with this unleavened bread, what is very interesting, and I really would like to mention that when we look to Inquisition trials, of course, they are written in Spanish and they are written in Portuguese. Okay, so when some have been translated into English, what was the terms used in their translation: unleavened bread or flat cakes. Okay, for me, this doesn't make sense. I know that we have to find a word to describe this unleavened bread, okay, so the matzah. Okay, but when the translation are only unleavened matzah or unleavened bread, for me, it doesn't explain what was exactly the unleavened bread in the late Middle Ages. So what I wanted to say is, for example, if we look into Spanish Inquisition trials, we will find different words for what nowadays we know as matzah. The first one, and is the main used word used, is pan censenio. Pan censenio is unleavened bread, okay, pan censenio. It was in opposition with pan leudo. Pan leudo is bread that contains yeast, okay? So pan censenio, it was the main word to describe what was matzah, unleavened bread. Pan censenio, or pan ácimo, or pan cotazo, or tortas cotacas. So many different names for just one English translation as unleavened bread. So this proves that, and this explains why in the Sephardic culture, there was so many different ways to prepare matzah. And with honey, yes, with wine, with parsley, and they were written, these not recipes, but all this preparation of these ingredients are mentioned in Inquisition trials that dates back to the 15th until the 17th century. So in historical sources, so we cannot say that they are not unleavened bread, they are not matzah, because it is written that those converts were using this matzah in the moment to celebrate Passover. And I am preparing a new book about what was the matzah recipes according to the Inquisition trials. In my book, Sephardic Cooking, the History of the Jews from Spain and the Diaspora, from the 13th century onwards, to today, published with Academic Studies Press, you will find the recipes that we prepare now, okay? You will find another, of course, information about that, but what I am explaining you now is always in relation with what you are going to find in my cookbook. And the matzah cookbook and the unleavened bread cookbook is in my mind. I'm just starting to work on this. So let's continue. So I just wanted to say that, of course, between pan censenio, pan ácimo, pan cotazo, tortas cotacas, and in Portuguese, you have bolos asnos or pão asno también, too. I'm sorry, it's a mix between Portuguese and Spanish and English. Okay, so we have a lot of different names when it was the moment to mention matzah, unleavened bread. So that is very interesting. Then let's prepare our dish. So this dish, as I remember you, is a dish that is mentioned in an Inquisition trial from Mexico that dates back to the 17th century, when Salomón de Machorro was, for which Salomón de Machorro was denounced because he used fresh fish and onions and different vegetables, and he cooked everything and used to eat that with corn tortillas with his friends for Passover. Okay, so let's,
Before you go back to cooking, we have a question. You said that you used chestnut flour for tortillas.
Yeah.
So
not this time, but it is written in another Inquisition trial from Portugal that the converso, some of the converso use chestnut flour instead of wheat flour to prepare their matzah.
Yeah, the question is, if you use a different flour, is it the recipe still 2 cups that equals 300 grams?
That's a good question, Anna. No, it is not the same. Because why? Because in fact, I can show you the corn flour is very different. Okay, the texture is quite different. When you use corn flour, it absorbs a lot of water. Okay, and that's not the case for the chestnut flour. So the chestnut flour is this. It is the organic one. Okay, and I don't know if I can show you how it is. Okay, it is more like that. Okay, so this chestnut flour doesn't absorb a lot of water. So I can tell you, because this recipe will be in my next cookbook. So I can tell you that, for example, to make the chestnut tortilla, it's 1 cup. 1 cup chestnut flour. It's 1/4. That's that, Anna. Cup of hot water, and 1 teaspoon salt, and you can use a lot. You can use, and that's all. Just a little salt, 1 cup chestnut flour, and 1/4 hot water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another question. Can also be used the matzo meal, so it will make kosher for Ashkenazi people too?
Honestly, I have never tried with a matzo meal, so I cannot answer you. I cannot answer you. I suppose yes, but really, I haven't tried this way.
Okay.
Because yes, I suppose yes, but in fact you can make matzah with a lot of different things. And for example, I have done, it will be in my next cookbook too, matzah with chickpea flour. Okay. Yes. So with chestnut, with chickpea, but I know that Ashkenazim do not use chickpea, so
it should be possible if they want to use the matzah meal. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I have to try that. It will be my work for next week. Thank you, Anna.
Yeah, it won't be the same, but yeah, if they want to make it kosher for themselves.
Yes, I think that what we have to keep in mind is that always when we use an ingredient rather than another, of course, it's not, the recipe won't be the same, but we can try to find a
can
way.
They use almond flour? Yeah, won't be the same, but they can use anything, I guess.
Yes, of course they can use almond flour. After that, it will taste different. In fact, you can do everything with what you want, but of course the taste is different. And the problem with almond flour is that when you mix it for a long time, it will it's just a little oily, in fact, because of the almonds. Okay, so that yes. Okay, so so let's prepare our. I'm gonna just that. Let's prepare our fish and sauce. Here. So let's start with olive oil. Just 1/4 olive oil. You have to use a good olive oil. It's very important. Okay, great. I've put a lot of flour on my working board. So here, perfect. So what we are going to do now is to chop the 2 cloves of garlic. Do not eat a lot your baking pan, just over low medium heat. Just we have to prepare our vegetables. So we have everything here. Okay. Can you see the chopping board, Anna?
Yes.
Okay, that's perfect. So I have my cheese here, the fresh cilantro, the 2 red onions, my lime, and here the 2 cloves of garlic, and of course salt. So let's start with the garlic.
Yeah, before you start, can you push the board a little bit towards the wall? A little bit. Yep. So we can see it's better. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. That's perfect. So you can cut it into half and just remove the middle. Okay. As usual. Okay, that's here. And the second one. Okay.
I don't know. Why do you remove the middle? I'm curious.
Yes, it's always the question. Because the taste is better, in fact. In the middle, sometimes it's quite bitter. I don't know if it's the term. So if you remove it, in fact, you have only you have only this part, and this is better, in fact. Okay. And you can do the same with the onion.
Interesting.
Yes, I always remove in the onion. Sometimes you have a yellow part in the middle, and it's better to remove it. So chop your garlic. This way it's good, okay? You do not need to chop it very thin, okay? This way is good. Okay, I'm gonna show you. Okay.
Yeah.
So great. I put it in my baking pan here. And then I will do the same with the red onions. And just a little part of the red onion. I'm gonna keep a little part of the red onions because when the dish is finished, okay, and I just prepare the corn tortilla and everything, I'm gonna just sprinkle with a red onion, and it will give a very special color, and it will be even more beautiful. So I remove the middle too, Anna.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I don't think many people knew about that.
I don't know. Right. I like red onions. They are sweeter than the other one sometimes, and mostly it gives a very interesting color to the dish. With the green of the cilantro, it's even more beautiful. Mm-hmm. So, great. Now I'm going to cut it into slices. That's it. Okay. So as you can see, there are thin slices here, not big ones. It's very important. Not big ones, okay? Just a thin one. I do the same with the other part, the half of the onion and the other onion. The last half, I'm gonna keep it set aside, and we are going to use it to sprinkle once the dish is finished, okay? Perfect. So, put all in the frying pan. This one is, okay. And this part is 1 handful, okay? I keep 1 handful to sprinkle when the dish is finished, okay? So everything is in the baking pan, and I'm going to do the same with the fresh chips, the green part and the white part, okay?
So is it only in French cuisine that you remove the middle of garlic and onion, because someone texted here?
I don't know. I have always done this. So yeah. If it is the case, thank you so much, because I didn't know that it was maybe a very French practice.
Yeah.
We can learn from each other. I like it. So yes, cut the chips very thin, please, because it's not good when at the moment of eating the tortillas, it's not tasty and it's quite hard to eat. So very thinly, you cut them very thinly, and as we did for the red onion, just take a part of the chips, 1/2 an handful, okay, and set it aside. Then we will sprinkle it over the tortilla, okay. This one, and now we do not need to remove the middle because it is all white inside.
Yep.
Because it's a fresh one, so it's a new one. Okay. Right. And the last one. And as I told you, we are going to keep a little 1/2 handful of the white part of the cheese, as we have done it for the green part and as we have done it for the red onions, because as I told you, it is more beautiful at the moment of eating the dish, and the aesthetic is very important. And it gives to the dish a crunchy taste, so it is very interesting. Okay, so everything is okay. I'm gonna keep it
you
here.
are using scallions, yeah?
It's not scallions.
It's chives?
Yes, chives.
Yeah,
yes.
Because people said they are too big to be chives.
So French chives. That's so funny.
So, and some other people confirmed that they do remove the middle of the garlic and onion in the US too. So I don't know if it's pure French or everybody does that. Who knows that?
I don't know. I have to go to the US to cook with, I don't know, another chef. And maybe I will notice that we are doing the same things, or maybe not, I don't know. So look, and now we have everything here. And now we are going to add the fresh fish, okay? I'm gonna find it here. So I've got my fish here, okay? And I'm going to cut it.
What kind of fish is that?
It's white fish.
White.
You can use the fish you want. Cod is the better one for me. But white fish, it's okay. And then you are going to put the white fish in the middle of the baking pan. Do not cut the fish into so small pieces. It's not a good idea, okay? Just this way, it's great, okay?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So I put it in the middle here. I can add salt, of course. It's very important.
If somebody wants to use more fish, they can add more fish, yeah?
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. Of course.
And Debbie Wall said, please tell Hélène that, to come and cook with me. We're international friends.
I love you, Debbie. Debbie is one of my best friends. I love her. I met her when I attend a conference of Society for Crypto-Judaic Studies, and she was there, and she's a so incredible woman. And of course, Debbie, I'm coming.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. And then we are going to take fresh cilantro. Yes, I wanted to tell you something. Salt is very, very important. So please do not forget the salt. Why? Because then we are going to use the lime, and lime will taste even more if it is in contact with the salt. Okay, so what we are going to do is just to cut half of a lime and to spread it just over the fish that is in the middle. I'm sure your question is why? Why? The reason it's easy, okay? It's because the acidity of the lime is gonna cook a little the fish, and the lime is going to give the fish a very, very interesting flavor, okay? So
So for those people who do not like cilantro, do you have any other suggestion what herb they can use?
In fact, I can tell you, okay, you can use parsley, but it is not in the spirit of the recipe. What I can say is that if you do not like cilantro, do not use another herb, but you can put more lime instead of using cilantro. Why? Because cilantro have this very interesting flavor, a very lemon flavor in fact. And I think if you use another herb, it's gonna change, in fact, the spirit and the taste of the dish. So if you do not cilantro, use more lime, but no other herb.
No other herb. Okay.
Yes. So here, as you could see, I do not have removed everything. That's normal, okay? Because my fish is cooking with slowly with the lime. And now I'm going to take cilantro, okay? And I am going to chop it very thinly. Maybe, I don't know if people know that, but when you use cilantro, the taste is, how can I say, when you use cilantro, the taste is not so much in the leaves. In fact, it's here. So when you use cilantro, you can chop everything, okay?
Yes, so Debbie Wall said that a version of cilantro, when people dislike it, it can be genetic. And she says it's true.
Yes, maybe.
I love cilantro.
Me too. I love this. Let's cook together too, Anna.
Okay.
So, as usual, we are going to take our cilantro and spread it all over here, okay? And now, okay, we are going just to keep a small amount of cilantro, and that we will use it for to sprinkle once the dish is finished. What we are going to do now is to prepare the tortilla. We are not going to make a lot of tortilla. I'm just gonna make maybe 2 or 3, and just to show you how it is. What we are going to do now, please, is not to remove the fish. You just have to put over lower heat and cover the dish, okay? And then we are going to make the tortilla. In fact, I'm just washing my hand.
You cook the veggies about 5 minutes?
Oh, now? And since now?
No, just from the beginning. The onion and garlic.
I don't know, 10 minutes maybe. It depends. I have put it on over very low heat. So
5-10 minutes before you add the fish.
Exactly. Totally. Yes.
And
so
with the fish, how long?
With the fish now, 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay. Thank you.
So lower heat, very low heat here, and cover the dish, and then we are going to prepare the here we are going to prepare our tortilla. Okay, so I have my dough here, and I have my pan, my baking pan, or like a skillet. Okay, So take your iron skillet here, and I don't know if it, can you see it, Hannah?
No, not very well.
Okay.
Lower the camera a little bit and to the right. It's better now. Yep.
Perfect. So you have to put it over lower heat, okay? And take your dough, okay? Now you are going to take like a golf ball, okay? And roll it here. Now, what is easier, maybe I think it is the best way to do it, okay, is to take a plastic here and to put the ball in the middle. Then you take another plastic and put it over. And now take your rolling pin and start to spread it, okay? It depends if you want a big tortilla or a small one. This one is very thin. I think I could have used more dough. I'm going to take more tortilla. I'm gonna do a bowl which is bigger, in fact. So let's make a new bowl, okay? This one is a little bigger than the other one.
So the question,
it's like a lime.
Yep, a little bit bigger.
Yes, like a lime.
So we have a question. You don't have to answer right now, but what was about the fish and vegetable recipe that betrayed Solomon de Machuro?
What can you repeat? What was the recipe?
What was about the fish and vegetables recipe that betrayed Solomon de Machuro?
What, in fact, in the Inquisition trial, what I can only tell you is that this trial where Salomon de Machuro is mentioned, Salomon de Machuro has been mentioned in a lot of different Mexican trials, okay? But in this one, which dates back to the middle of the 17th century, we know that Salomon de Machuro, who played a key role in the spread of Judaism in Mexico, was denounced because it is written that with his friends, he used to he used to consume, to eat corn tortilla with fish and vegetables with his friends for Passover. We do not know something else about this dish, but what I can tell you is that those information concerning the corn tortilla, fish, and vegetables with his friend for Passover, it's very, very interesting. We do not have a lot of so detailed information about the culinary practices of the Converso. But what is interesting to remember is that Salomon de Machuro, as Luis de Carabajal, but as Blanca Enriquez in Mexico, and their family were were mentioned a lot of time because everybody knew that those families were very, very famous families, and they mainly do not hide themselves a lot because they believe very strongly in their Judaism. And another example I can tell you. Another example, for example, is that before Salomón de Machoro came to Mexico, there were no Hebrew calendar. So how do the Converso and the Sephardic Converso crypto Jews knew about when was Passover? It was what they did is that they knew that the Easter holiday of the Catholic was quietly at the same time of Passover, you know. So that's how they could knew about when Passover was. This was before Salomón de Machoro came. When Salomón de Machoro came, with all his knowledge of Judaism, because he has spent time in Portugal, he has spent time in Italy, and then he has spent time in other parts of the Mediterranean basin. When he came in Mexico, he brought with him his knowledge of Judaism, and he brought with him the Hebrew calendar. So that's why Salomón de Machoro is so many times described in historical sources. And that's why, I suppose, we have this very detailed information concerning the corn tortilla, fish and vegetable dish eaten with his friends and for Passover, because we know that Salomón de Machoro had a lot of friends, because he really wanted to share Judaism with them. So maybe some can think that there are not a lot of information, and we can expect more details about this recipe. But in fact, what you have to realize is that it's a lot of information we have concerning this practice of Salomón de Machoro. But my cookbook, Sephardi Cooking the History, will give you a lot of other information concerning Salomón de Machoro, culinary practices, cooking practices, Blanca de Enriquez too, and Arias Davila in Spain. So you will find a lot of information concerning their respective practices, in fact.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So, what do you think? Can someone make the dough and cook it a few days after, if you can store the dough in the refrigerator?
Yes, you can. Just put it in a plastic bag, but you have to be careful that there is no water inside. So when you put it in the plastic bag, do not place. You have to be sure that the plastic bag is really all around the dough. You know.
So how many days? Is 6 days okay, or it's too much?
No, it's too much.
Too much.
Just
3 days?
2 days.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I have started with the first one. I'm gonna do another one. I was talking, so it's not a round form. Sorry. So I'm going to prepare another one, a more beautiful one. The technique of the plastic is very good, because this way the dough is not sticky, you know.
Yeah, it's easier to spread.
Yes, of course.
So, question is, did non-Jews in Mexico always eat corn tortillas, or they started after Salomón de Machoro arrived there?
This is a good question, but in fact, the corn tortillas are already mentioned in historical sources of pre-Columbian times. So we can think that, but it's a very, very huge work what I think is that the corn tortillas were already eaten by non-Jews before the Jews came, in fact. And it wouldn't, this is not surprising, in fact, because the corn is and was, for example, for the Aztecs, very, very, very important. So it is not surprising that corn tortilla could have been used. Of course, I'm quite sure, 100% that they were corn tortilla were used by in pre-Columbian time. That's sure. But once more, this proves that the Sephardim, the Jews in general, but even more, I think the Sephardim always had to adapt their culinary practices, but always keeping in mind Judaism, in fact. And the diaspora, in fact, forced them to do this way, to adapt themselves, in fact, because as the Sephardic diaspora is huge, of course, the conversos, the Jews who settled in so many different countries, find there so many different culture. So that's not surprising, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
So
again, the heat now is low or medium?
Now it's medium. I'm gonna show you. And what I want to show you is that, look.
Oh.
Okay?
Yeah, it becomes so fluffy.
Yes, it becomes so fluffy and so tasty. Okay? So here, that's perfect. You cannot smell, but it smells corn. Okay? So over medium heat now. I have prepared the other one. You do not have to cook it a lot because it's gonna be hard, okay? So what you can do is to prepare a plate, okay? And once it's almost done, okay, you can put it in a plate and cover it, okay? It's very, very important, okay? So now we have the second one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook the chestnut one, okay? So, where is my bag? Where are my bags? Here. So for you, I decided to prepare different ones. So this one, okay, is corn flour with a little olive oil.
So this one inside the dough. You don't put any oil on the pan, yeah?
No, I didn't. No, it's not necessary.
Okay.
Yeah, it's healthy, you know.
Of course.
This one is just corn flour, and that's what I told you. You have to be careful and not to do what I did, because I just put the dough inside the bag, and what happened is that inside, I don't know if you can say, there are a little water. This is not okay. It's better not to do that. Okay, if you put it in the bag, okay, just put it this way. Okay. Yeah. So this is the corn flour, and this is the chickpea flour. As you can see, the color is different. I'm gonna put it over medium-high heat, okay? And this one is the chestnut flour. So I'm gonna show you with the chestnut flour because I told you about it in an Inquisition trial from Portugal. Okay? So
we have so many questions.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes. Do you know why Solomon de Machuro went to Mexico? And if he would stay, he would have been safer in Italy if he would stayed there.
Salomon de Machero have traveled in his life. He have traveled a lot. As I told you, he really wanted. It was one of his goals. Okay, one of his goals was to share his knowledge of Judaism. So that's why he started when he was young to travel. Okay, he did a lot of different countries, and then he arrived in Mexico. I do not know exactly why, but I think that, as we know, the merchantship between Latin America and the Mediterranean basin was very important, and the trade was mainly done by the Jews. So we can think that I do not know exactly. I don't know very well the story of Salomon de Machero, but you can find it. It's not hard to find books about Salomon de Machero. But we can imagine that as many traders, Jewish traders, he had family in different parts of Latin America, and he could went there more easily. So, but I think that the most important is to remember that some people like Salomon de Machero have spent a very important part of his life spreading Judaism, in fact. So we can think that it was what he wanted to do, okay, to travel and to spend his knowledge.
Thank you. So we got more information that Salomon Machero's Christian name was Juan de Leon.
Yes.
And information about him is in the late David Gitlit's cookbook.
Yeah.
Juan de Leon Escabeche.
Yes. In fact, if you will find my friend who passed away, unfortunately. Yes, my friend David Gitlitz have been working a lot on different Jewish. Yes, he has spent a lot of time working on different families, different famous families of Converso, like the Carvajal or like Salomon de Machero. And in his book, for example, The Drizzle of Honey, which is a very interesting book. You will find a lot of information inside. Okay, David, of course, talked about Salomon de Machero family, and I'm sure if you can buy this book, of course, buy it, because you will find a lot of interesting information. And I know that he have wrote about the Salomon Machero family.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm cooking now the chestnut one. Okay. So over medium heat. Okay, perfect. So here is the chestnut tortilla. And then we are going to see how we are going to prepare the dish, because you can uncover. Okay, it smells so well. Okay, so now everything is cooked. Okay, we can uncover it, because we have to uncover it because there is the sauce. Okay, here, and it is. We can use the sauce, or you can do as you want, in fact. So what we are going to do now is not to mix everything, because you are going to make like a puree, like it's not going to be good. Just keep it like that, okay? And now take a plate, a new one, okay? And be ready here. And be ready, we are going to take our tortilla, corn tortilla, and we are going to put the fish and vegetable inside. And then we are going to use our fresh vegetables we have already cut and chopped and pour over lime juice, okay? So here is the chestnut one, okay? It smells very, very well. It smells really like chestnut. So that's very interesting. So what we are going to do now, we are going to take our 2 tortilla here, okay? And we are going to make our interesting presentation with this way. Great. Oh, it's quite hot. I'm going to put this like that, okay? So now everything is ready. I'm going to turn off everything, and we are going to put our dish in our tortilla. Ready? I'm just taking 2 spoons, and then so start here from the middle. Okay. This
we lost your
so
video.
Good. Oh, what this?
Oh,
that's
you're
okay.
back.
Yes. So here, I'm going to put the fish here. What I'm going to do is just, I'm going to put this here. Can you see it well, baby?
Yes.
Anna? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so perfect.
If
so
you can push the plate a little bit up, a little bit to the left and up. Yep, it's better.
It's better? Okay.
Yeah, no, left, to the other side. Yep.
Great. So take your fish. It's very important not to remove the fish once it was cooking, okay? So don't put the sauce because you won't be able to eat the tortilla. Okay. That's perfect. That's great. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the fresh herbs I just specified before. So I take the red onions. In fact, with this preparation, you can do 4 tortillas and fill them with this stuffing, okay? The chives, the red onions, and at least you have to put cilantro here. It's very important to keep, to set aside fresh cilantro, fresh red onions and chives, because the color, when you cook a dish, the color is different. Okay, so this gives the dish more beautiful. And then you can
fresh lime.
Yes, put the fresh lime here.
Looks
so
delicious.
That's here you are. I do not know if you can see it very well.
It was better the other way.
It was better before.
Yep. More to yourself, a little more. Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, so here you have the recipe. Here, the tortillas with the fish. I'm gonna do a photo, of course, once the session is finished here, to show you how beautiful it is. And thank you.
Thank you. We have one more question. So we answered that you can save the dough in the refrigerator for 2 days. It's okay. What about the fish? Can you freeze it for a few days before Pesach, or it has to be fresh?
In fact, you have to do what we have done. I mean, if you cook it in the baking pan, okay, then once it's cold, you can put it in a bag or in, I don't know, in something, and then of course you can freeze it. But please do not forget to, once you take it out of the fridge, cut fresh cilantro, fresh red onions, and fresh chives, and then you can do it, of course. Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome, Anna. It's time for me to eat. I'm so sorry for you, but it's so good.
We can hear you too. Looks delicious. No, that's great.
So, what I wanted to, just to finish, I just wanted to tell something more. I think that we have been talking with, for example, with Jez and Guberan, of some different ways of people. What I want to say is that I remember the first question we have for this session concerning Ashkenazi practices and Sephardic practices. I think that we have to keep in mind that both culture and both practices. Okay, so it is very important for the Sephardim to spread the knowledge, and it's very important that we have recognition of the Sephardic culture. I'm very happy that many of you signed up for this session, because it is a way to defend and to highlight the Sephardic culture through food, okay, but through different things too. So Sephardic culture needs to be highlighted and recognized by everyone. And I thank you so much for signing up for this station and for the other station, because the Sephardim and everybody is, in fact, have to play a key role in this recognition. So thank you so much.
We have Janine who sent a note in French, if you could look into that. I think she's saying thank you to you and ASF, but
I'm going to do, I don't know what to do, Anna. I'm going to, I don't know how to do.
Do you see the Q&A?
Yes, okay. Janine, she said that she wants to thank me to offer a lesson about the history and food, and she thanks the American Sephardist Federation for organizing all the stations of the program of the stations. So thank you so much. And thank you, John, too. I can see here. Oh, there are so many questions, so many commentaries. I'm very happy that you like them.
We had a good engagement.
Yes, thank you so much. And of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to send an email. You will find different kinds of information in my Instagram, Hélène Jawhara-Piñer. And of course, this recipe and many other are in my cookbook published with Academic Studies Press, which is already available to pre-order on Amazon, on Academic Studies Press website, and different and Barnes and Nobles and Foyles and Walmart and everywhere, I think so. So yes, I'm very happy for that, and I think that it's too thanks to all of you. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll be sending the recording to everybody so they can follow and cook along. And we can also send information about your Amazon book where they can purchase and pre-order it.
Yes.
And we apologize again for the delay today.
Of course, I apologize. I'm so sorry for that. It's just I'm gonna have to change the hour. Thank you so much to everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.